Welcome to Hooper's Radar, and in today's video, I'm with Late to Hoops, and we're going to be discussing why the LA Clippers are a serious contender and could win the NBA championship this year. Okay, so to begin, one of the biggest things about this Clippers team is their depth. They are one of the deepest teams in the NBA, having players like John Wall, Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Ivica Zubac, Robert Covington, Amir Coffey, Terrence Mann, and other awesome great players. So what makes this team so good is obviously their depth, and they also have Luke Kennard, who's a great shooter to stretch the floor. They have Nicholas Batum, who's a great forward that will give you some playmaking, great defense, and stretching the floor as well. They obviously have a great three all-star trio now of John Wall, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard obviously coming back this season, who we've seen proven it before with his 2 finals MVPs and 2 championships with the Spurs and the Raptors. Paul George, who's been an MVP candidate before and is an awesome great player. He brought this team to the conference finals with not a lot of help a couple seasons ago, and we've seen that already. And John Wall, who's the newest and biggest acquisition for this team. We've seen him already before. And then getting great role players like Norman Powell, who, as a Blazers fan, I've seen what he can do. He plays great defense, stretches the floor, is so lethal when he shoots those threes in the corner. Terrence Mann, who we've also seen has came up big in the playoffs. And then awesome great young players also to add to this team, like Brandon Boston Jr. and Jason Preston, Amir Coffey. And yeah, this team has just so much depth, and I can't wait to see them on the floor. And this is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 deepest teams in the NBA.
I definitely agree that the Clippers are going to be exciting to watch, especially coming into this new season. Like you said, they have a lot of new great acquisitions, one of which that I would be talking about a lot is John Wall. One thing I think that is underrated that John Wall brings to this Clippers team that they desperately needed is the ability to play make. You touched a bit on how Batum and Paul can be primary playmakers for them, but when you look at someone like John Wall, who's averaged double-digit assists 3 times in his career, you can't do anything but be excited to see that. Not to mention, he brings a great energy offensively and defensively with the passing, like I mentioned. But on defense, he's also had 2+ steals in over 2 seasons as well. And I know he's sat a lot this last year with this Rockets team because they had younger guys like Jalen Green playing in front of him. And I don't blame Coach Silas or anyone in the Houston's organization for doing that. But now that the buyout is over, I think John is super amped up to get out and run and get out and play with this Clippers team just at a contending level. One thing, if you guys have been paying attention to these Rico runs, I always preach that you guys should be watching these. You will see that John and Paul George have been playing with that fire, that energy, that passion, just that intensity that you want to see out of your superstar players. So I'm really stoked to see it, not only the depth like you said, but just John Wall and how he affects this LA Clippers team going forward.
Yeah, this is going to be a scary sight to see.
So having said all this, one thing that I really want to know from you is that what do you think Kawhi Leonard looks like coming back from not playing basketball in over a year? What does that version of Kawhi Leonard look like?
I gotta say, Kawhi does take a lot of time off, usually even when he's healthy, but coming after 2 years, I can imagine he's going to be really energetic and being ready to play. And if any of you guys have seen the photos and images out there, Kawhi is looking real buff and thick.
The Quad Lord. The Quad Lord, yeah.
Yeah, the Quad Lord is crazy. That man has been in the weight room. But I think Kawhi, if we can at least get 80% of Kawhi coming back, this is going to be a scary team either way. And I think Kawhi will be ready. You know, his thing has always been getting rest, and he's gotten a lot of that. So I think Kawhi is going to come back very close to his prime self.
I agree, and I think 80%, that's a really good margin for error right there. You know, he doesn't need to come back to 100 right away. Maybe when the playoffs come, we're going to hope to tune that 80 up to a 90 or 95, but Kawhi is just such a superstar on both sides of the ball that I think, like you said, even 80 of that. I mean, people tend to forget he's only 31 or 30 years old, you know? Like, he's still got a couple solid years left in his prime.
Yeah, of course, and I think one of the biggest things is going to be that the 3 of these players their games should mix very well. You know, Kawhi being a 2-way amazing player, Paul George also being another 2-way wing, and John Wall, who I feel like people don't speak of in the past. He was a really great defensive guard, real scrappy. And this is a trio of two-way players. I think their games are going to mesh well. The Clippers, it's always been a thought if they needed a actual true point guard, and I think they finally have an actual point guard in John Wall who can play defense, and also score inside very well. And it looks like John Wall's jumper is also the best it's looking in a while, so I think they'll all mesh together.
I agree 100%.
So one great thing to definitely put our energy into that's always been great is Ty Lue as a coach. I don't know much of the other staff, but I gotta say that I've always had my faith in Ty Lue as a coach, and he's always been a great coach who knows how to set culture, put certain characters in place, and just coach off.
I agree 110%, especially when you look at the past that this Clippers franchise has seen. Obviously, you see them blow certain leads in the past, certain 3-1 leads that we don't have to talk about because that's the past. But what we do have to talk about is how when those leads were blown and those games came down to the bad decisions, we often looked at the coaching back when it was Doc Rivers handling the front office side of things. And I think, like you said, we have just grown to this place where everyone on the Clippers, whether you're the superstar Kawhi Leonard or you're one of the sixth men like Terrence Mann, you are just having that dog in you. You're having that winning attitude. You're playing for Ty Lue. Like, Ty Lue's basketball IQ is off the charts when it comes to understanding the game and just the flow of it. I mean, and he's one of the youngest coaches too. Doesn't seem like it, I know, but honestly, what they're doing in LA this year is very, very impressive. And it's just a testament to show that a team like Los Angeles Lakers had Ty Lue in their coaching reserves and in their coaching roster, but he wasn't able to make a name for himself out there just because there was already so many big egos and big names. But when you come to a team like the Clippers that's just induced with winners and people who want to get better, they're starting to buy into this system. We talked about earlier before we started even recording this video how they're buying into JB Bickerstaff over in the Cleveland Cavaliers. It takes a coach like that to really just change the narrative of an organization. So I really, really, really do hope that from the Clippers this year, we can see them make the finals at least.
Yeah, so buying into the system is very important, and it helps a lot for the Clippers when they have a very loyal and committed owner like Steve Ballmer, who goes to most of the Clipper games and watches them, and endorsed Paul George and Kawhi Leonard with open arms when they first got to the franchise. So, putting a lot of trust into the Clippers this season, and hopefully they make it more than just past the conference finals. So, guys, that's the Clippers. Be careful with the Clippers. They're going to be a scary sight to see this year. And I want to thank Late to Hoops for coming on the video. I will be linking his channel in the description. He's a great NBA discussion YouTuber just like me, so please go check him out when you have time. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys like and subscribe to stay on the radar for all things basketball.